Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome in today for the 52nd episode of the Podwans podcast. I am your host, Char J, joined by my co-host, Luke.
How's it going, everybody?
And my other co-host, Hereth Productions.
Welcome back, everyone.
Hope everyone's having a great day so far. Today marks the beginning of Season 6, and we're going to be covering episodes 1 through 4 of Season 6, which is also known as the Orders arc, or the Fives arc, or whatever you would prefer to call it. We're going to be seeing a lot of tension, a lot of clones, and it's going to be fun. And I'm excited to cover it today with all of you guys.
No, yeah, absolutely. It's going to be it's Season 6, very underfunded, but has some of the best story arcs.
Absolutely.
Super underrated. It's so underrated.
It is very, very underrated. And we got two really good guests that love Fives. One in particular, it's going to be just get ready, because I guess she's coming in and like meeting the energy.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how it goes. But
all right,
let's get into it.
He never would have made it as Obi-Wan's Padawan, but you might make it as mine.
And we're back. So we have two guests today for this arc. Our first guest is a returner to the Podwans podcast. He was on recently. He's been on, I believe, 2 arcs of the Clone Wars thus far.
Yep. Umbara and what was the other one?
I believe he was on for Maul Ascension?
Yes.
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 Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I remember the icebreaker question, which kind of relates to why he's here right now with his answer.
Yep.
So let's bring
absolutely.
in Max at PMP's Den of Antiquities.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Max? How's it going?
Oh, just living the dream. Just living the dream. Glad to talk Star Wars with you guys.
You've been on Cloud City Conversations for like 5 or 6, right?
I think
we're gonna have to get you a shirt if you hit 5 on ours as well.
Oh yeah, I'll totally do it, man. I love talking Star Wars. That's just really with anybody, man. Anybody who will allow me to nerd out with them, I'm glad to talk Star Wars with you.
No, absolutely. Where can the good people follow you on the social medias?
You can follow me at pmps_den on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I'm trying to be more active on Twitter. I don't know how to use Twitter.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
And then when I go on Twitter, it's like war and anarchy. So
yeah. Yep.
But yeah, you can follow me on all that. I do have a YouTube channel called PMP's Den of Antiquities, where I do a little bit of everything. I have a podcast called the Star Wars Perspective Podcast. If you guys like 3D printing or like makers videos, I do that. I do reviews and roundtables, you name it. I'm kind of just a Star Wars generalist or something. And then since I don't shout out my business enough, also PMP Creations, with a Z. If you guys like Star Wars stuff, or if you like video game stuff, I do a lot of 3D printing, and I have a lot of other stuff I'm bringing in the future, like t-shirts and stuff like that. But yeah, I just hit 4K, a big mile marker for me. I hit 4K on TikTok, and I'm about to hit 1K on Instagram.
Yeah,
so
let's go.
I'm getting up there with it, so I was pretty happy with that. But yeah, you guys can find me on that.
That's awesome. He might be in something in the near future that we still can't discuss.
Yes,
we will hopefully have something for you, hopefully tomorrow or Monday at the latest.
But as I mentioned when I was bringing you in, I remember because when you were on for the Maul Ascension arc, the icebreaker question for that was, what was the most pivotal moment of the Clone Wars? And you said this arc. So I'm kind of excited to see what you got to say about this, because rewatching it, it's a very important part of the Clone Wars.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure.
Very essential. I don't know why Disney did not include it on the Central Clone Wars arc. That's another rant for another time.
I'll join that one too.
Absolutely. But thanks again for coming on, Max. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
And now our second and final guest on the show. She is a newbie to the Podwans podcast. I have met her in person, which is kind of funny because the amount of times where I've met people in the community for the first time in person, very, very
slim.
Doesn't happen very often. But I met her at Celebration, as Hereth and Luke and I did as well. Yep. Let's bring in Ari at the Millennium Pod.
Ari!
Hello. Thank you for having me on. One slight beef with my introduction. I'm actually the Ari. Not just Ari, but it's fine.
The Ari.
I'll forgive that for today.
Well, great. We're
I guess you want me to just go right into where you can find me. I am definitely most active on Twitter because it's very, very easy. I just think of something and tweet it out instantly. So my Twitter user is at Milleniumpod _. You can also find me at that same user at Milleniumpod _ on Instagram, which I'm trying to be better at. I do have TikTok. That's where I started this whole Star Wars micro influencer thing at ari.in.space. But I kind of have beef with TikTok right now, so I'm not super active on there. I also have a podcast. It's my own little child, my own little baby, the Millennium Pod. You can find it on Spotify and Apple. I recently switched podcast providers, so I'm working on getting it up on some other places as well. But I feel like most people use Spotify and Apple anyway, so there's that. Again, with that, I kind of just talk about whatever I feel like, whenever I want. When Andor comes out, be prepared for a lot of Millennium Pod is all I'm going to say on that.
There you go.
Let's go.
There you go. That's what we're looking forward to. That's what we're looking forward to the most. I tell you what. But yeah, let's go to the chat. Camilla or Barico? Oh God, I almost messed that up.
You almost did
I almost messed it up. She said, "I'm here. Do I win something for being first in the chat?"
Yes,
and
you win a crisp high five.
Yeah, you get a high five. You get high five. Everybody in the chat, put an F if you can hear us. I'm testing something.
Yeah, the stream audio is working.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Okay, I'm just making sure because Ari can't hear us. Ari, can you hear us? No, she can't hear us. We'll figure that out.
Do you hear the words coming out of my mouth?
Yeah, we can hear you. Okay, all right. We've got Escape Reality Films.
Hi,
go
Caleb.
check them out. Chris, hello. What have we here? It's very lackluster. I can't do it as well as Chris, but yeah.
And then Chris said, "Ari." Ooh.
But yeah, thank you everybody that's in the chat. Also, if you're here for the first time, welcome. Go like the stream so that we can get pushed through the YouTube algorithm so that we can get more of you in here and we can talk some more Star Wars with new faces. That's what we love to do. But we are going to get into this episode. It's episode 52, the Fives arc or the Orders arc. The intro discussion. Here's a question. If you were to open a clone bar, what would you call it and what would your specialty drink be? Max, we'll start with you since Ari is having some technical difficulty.
Okay, well, I went with, if you're a fan of the Battlefront video games, I went with a kind of a classic Battlefront one. So the name of my bar would be the Command Post.
Nice. Nice.
And then my specialty drink would be Watch Those Wrist Rockets, and it would contain vodka, coconut rum, Sprite, Hawaiian Punch, and then one maraschino cherry for like the laser dot on the wrist rocket.
Wow, you put some thought into that. That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
I did a
awesome.
little bit. I was like, I can't like just like name the drink and then like not think of something kind of cool to like
Watch
put
those
in
wrist
it.
rockets.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Hereth.
Obviously, I'm going to go with the obvious emotional damage one. That's obviously called 66 because duh.
Ooh.
And you're going to,
yeah.
and the main drink is to be called Inhibit because you're going to inhibit the amount of alcohol you're having at the time.
Ari,
Okay.
can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you again. That was very strange.
Bam.
Anyway, sorry guys.
All
I'm
right.
back. I'm ready.
So, the first question: if you were to open a clone bar, what would you call it, and what would be your specialty drink? What would your specialty drink be?
Okay, so it is imperative that my bar is on either 99th Avenue or 99th Street. because I would call it Brothers on 99th. Like, hello, was right there for me.
Nice.
Just happy little wholesome bar. I won't say the NSFW name I had originally thought of, so I had to kind of clean my thoughts. So that's where we got that one from.
Oh.
For the drink.
Okay. I mean, we'll maybe talk about that later, Ari.
Maybe we will. As for the drink, okay. I personally, this is like me personally, I love a good margarita. So I'm thinking like a margarita bar. Tequila. We're gonna have all the different flavors. The clones are canonically margarita enjoyers now because I said so.
Okay.
Like that's it. Yeah.
All right. Well then what would the clones order? Let's go down a little bit. Like what would Gregor order at Clone Bar 99?
I feel like you guys gotta help me out with this. I don't know.
I think he'd be like a straight. I think he would be like a straight Jack guy. You know.
Yeah, I think so too. He's pretty like no nonsense. You know.
Yeah, the Commando's like the hard stuff. You know.
I mean, I would say it depends on Gregor which era. Clone Wars Gregor, I would say he's a straight vodka man, but Bad Batch and Rebels, he's a bit of a whiskey man.
Yeah. He's seen some shit.
Yeah,
he's seen some shit in his day. Rex gets straight water because he doesn't like to drink. Calling that right now.
So true. I'm
true. Just saying, he's more of just like, I gotta be sober so that I can fly the boys home. Like he's so like.
Yeah, I feel like if I'm gonna throw someone in there, Hauser is 100% a tequila shots for everybody, man. 100%.
Oh yeah. Yes. Yeah, I mean he spent a lot of time on Ryloth, and I mean, hey, they don't mess around.
I don't know much, but I do know that.
There you go. Char.
Well, for those of you who know me, I'm a big Plos Bros guy. I'm a 104th every single day. So I'm just going to call it Plos Bros Bar and Grill. And, everyone else can come in, but it's like, it's all gray and white themed. And I feel like my signature drink there would be probably Vegas bombs.
Jesus. Wow.
Because Plos Bros is a party.
Okay.
And there's slot machines in the corner, so.
Oh my god. What are we on? Canto Bite?
I mean,
is that where this is at?
I mean, unless you want some Jawa juice and Jabba juice, or both Dex's drinks and Galaxy's Edge drinks. So.
Goodness. Okay. So Ari actually took my name. So now I gotta think of it.
Ari's not Luke.
Did I really?
Yeah.
Luke,
I was gonna. I guess
Skywalker, and we think of the same Clone Bars name.
Hey, I don't know.
Iconic.
I was gonna say. Now I gotta think of a new one. I was gonna go. Well, my second choice is the 501st. Something with 501st. The 501st Bros or something, bar and grill or whatever. And obviously Port in a Storm would be the go-to drink, because like when you go into the 501st, you're all in or you're not in at all. So that's what I would go with.
So true.
Kind of generic. Camilla says Hunter, something with what the hell does that? What's that word? I'm showing my
Nebraskan.
Yes. Mezcal? Is that right? Because smoky. Mezcal? I'm not sure. I don't know. Camilla, why do you gotta make me say big words? I don't like this. Anyway.
They're not big words, they're just confusing for you.
Anyway. Char, episode 1, The Unknown.
Yes.
Plot summary, my sir.
We dive into season 6, episode 1, The Unknown. And guess what, guys?
It's a Godfrey time.
It's Godfrey time.
I have a lot of faith in this one because it's a really short one.
Obviously, so actually it's not, I mean it's decent, but so Ari, I don't know if you ever heard my Gilbert Gottfried impression.
Oh, it's quite fantastic.
So what I would do is, so I always read the plot summaries of each episode prior to covering it. But as of recently, I think it was as of Zygeria, was when I started reading them in Gilbert Gottfried's voice. And apparently it's been requested a lot. A Con Air. All right. But anyway, season 6, episode 1, The Unknown. Battle for Ringo Vinda. Republic forces are locked in heated combat with the droid armada on a massive space station that encircles an entire planet. Anakin Skywalker valiantly leads his men against the onslaught, which has lasted several rotations, with neither side gaining any ground. Aided by the twin sister Jedi Masters Tipley and Tiplar, the Republic now mounts a desperate offensive to break the deadlock.
I love how you just said Tipley, Tiplar. Oh my god.
So you have no idea how hard that reading was, because I'm self-monitoring my headphones with my mic. So everything I say, I can hear myself as well. So for you watching, that the eardrums erupted, mine did as well. So I guess we're all on the same boat here.
Yeah. So Ari, what do we give that out of 5? We'll do it out of 5.
That was
the reading. I'm gonna give it a 5 because I have nothing to compare it to. Great job.
Take that, Hereth. Take that. He is my worst critic. Thank you,
Max.
You're welcome.
Spot on, man. Like I said, I was in the last podcast. I'm a supporter. So
I'm a Godfrey supporter, but I'm your harshest critic. 3.5.
You're literally.
Wow. 3.5. Oh, we got Haley Corellia Coffee Works. And Camilla. Actually, hold on. Her and Camilla and Mara.J.Skywalker or Beth, all just came back from the Halcyon Star Cruiser. So that's awesome. Would love to do that someday, but it is what it is. But I'm glad that they had fun. We'll just we'll say that. Oh, look, it is Remy. Hey, Remy.
Hi, Remy.
She will actually be on next week talking about the Clovis arc and watching Anakin kick the hell out of Clovis because he deserves it, but not condoning his actions. Sorry. And the party maneuver is drinking the glass over some.
If you know, you know.
If you don't know, you don't know.
I got a glass over those asses.
Oh my god.
But yeah.
Anyway, all right, let's get into it. So the moral of this episode is the truth about yourself is always the hardest to accept. Which is interesting because like when we first see this episode, Fives is told by Anakin that Tup is your responsibility. Whatever happens, he's your responsibility. So we start off, obviously they're rolling through, and like for this being the most underfunded like season, it looks great. It looks absolutely fantastic. And I love this this planet with the ring around it. It's a concept that I wish we would have seen more of. What were your guys' thoughts on like the structure and how like close combat it is?
I mean, I think it's super cool. I like the one of my biggest things that I always say that I want to see going forward with any type of Star Wars content is like the Mandalorian war with like Jedi and Mandos, and that was very close combat. They like wore armor like almost like knights did and stuff like that, and you kind of get that. Really, you don't get a whole lot of like close quarters combat with Star Wars when it comes to like the clones, like you do when obviously with lightsabers and stuff. But a lot of stuff is shot and they're blasting each other from what looks like almost like a mile away, so it was kind of cool getting that like really intense, because it's a really intense arc. So I think it sets that kind of intensity like early on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Ari?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. The one thing doesn't really have to do so much with the battle, but like the thing I find super interesting about this, aside from Fives and that whole thing, is the fact that we see like sibling Jedi, because I think raises some really interesting questions about like why, because the Jedi are supposed to be not have like blood relations to like their family and stuff. And so I remember the first time I watched this arc, I was like, whoa, that's so cool. Like sisters. Yeah. And then I kind of forgot about them because then the whole arc is just insane. But that's just one thing that like really stands out to me. And I really like it, but it's definitely like an interesting conversation to have. Not today, but just an interesting conversation to have. Sibling Jedi.
Yeah. No, definitely. Like I think that they make exceptions, especially if they're like multiple, like if there's siblings that have both Force sensitivity, they get to go together, which I think is very interesting because we don't see anything close to that until you see Luke and Leia.
Well, also,
and by that point, it's all gone.
Isn't there one in High Republic? Isn't there one in High Republic Adventure?
Yes,
there
is now.
Hereth in the High Republic as well.
They're also the same. Also, aren't they the same species as well?
They aren't. Nope.
Is it like super confirmed that they're sisters? Because I kind of took it as like, you know how like the Inquisitors, they have like first sister, second sister, but they're like not related. Like maybe kind of like a bond like that. But I mean, like I didn't know if they were actually like, I mean, I guess it would kind of be weird if they just called sisters just for the sake of it. So I think definitely them being sisters is a lot more of an interesting story, but I didn't know.
No, yeah, for sure. I think it adds more, and if you look at what happens, I think it adds more weight.
Oh, for sure.
To is it Tiplar or Tipli that dies? I think it's Tiplar.
I think it's Tiplar, yeah.
Tiplar, yeah. Tiplar does die. But going into the first question, speaking of Anakin and Fives, he does tell Fives that he is responsible for Tup. How does it show his empathy and trust within the clones? Had it been another Jedi, do you think he would have been able to execute or prosecute immediately?
I mean, if it was Pong Krell, yeah.
True.
I have not heard in a long time.
Fuck Pong Krell. We hate
Pong Krell.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's only one Basilisk I love. It's Dex.
Yes.
No other Basilisk.
Dexter Jetster, the official Glup Shido of the Pod Ones podcast.
If there's any other good Basilisk out there that I didn't mention, I'm sorry, but Dex is
Dexter,
the holy one.
Yeah,
what do you know? Camino Saber Dart.
Camino Saber Dart. Obi-Wan. Oh God, I love it. But Max, what are your thoughts?
I mean, so the question was like, how would other Jedi like handle the situation?
Yes.
So I mean, I think it really would depend on the Jedi, because I would see Mace Windu as like pretty by the books. Like, no, he like disobeyed orders. Like he's discharged. He's going, jail, all that stuff. But then you have people like or aliens like Plo Koon, or like even like we don't really see Kit Fisto, but Kit Fisto's always in a good mood, so I figured he'd be one for like the clones and his army. But I think it really just depends on the Jedi, because some Jedi are like super by the books, and then others are a little bit more loosey goosey with it.
No, yeah, I think it's interesting because Anakin, with a lot of the Jedi, they do give the clones personalities. Like they tell them, you are not just a clone, you are a person. And I think that's something that Anakin does really, really well. Unfortunately, it ties into his attachments, which is a no-no, and he's always had attachments. So I mean, that's another thing. But Ari, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that of all the Jedi, I think Anakin might be one of the most lenient, because I do believe that since Anakin came to the Jedi Order so late and knew kind of what it was like to have a family in a more like traditional sense that isn't within the Jedi, I think that he kind of sought out that same sort of vibe with the people he was around, and that included the clones. And so I think that he sees them as his family more than some of the other Jedi would, per se. I do think Ahsoka would be handle it very similarly, because of the nature of her being Anakin's Padawan. But yeah, I do agree that it kind of would depend on the Jedi. Like, definitely agree. I think Mace Windu is very by the book.
Luminara.
Especially, I just read Dark Disciple, and he's kind of interesting in that, which also leads me to agree with that. I won't spoil it, but some things that some of his actions in that book lead me to believe, yeah, he would be very by the book on that, which is fine, teach their own.
Ari, also think about the last arc that we just talked about.
So true.
So Ahsoka leaves the Order before Dark Disciple. So put those two scenarios together. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Obi-Wan would have an interesting time of it. Obviously, it wouldn't happen because Obi-Wan's not in charge of the 501st, but I think he could go either way because we've seen him kind of go either way in these types of situations. So for the other Jedi, Ki-Adi-Mundi.
Fuck Ki-Adi-Mundi.
I hope he's Ki-Adi-Mundi.
Yeah, we don't talk about Ki-Adi-Mundi here.
He would not. He'd be
like Bruno.
He's
like Bruno from Encanto. We don't talk about
Mundi. Except Bruno's actually a homie. Yeah. That's my thoughts on that.
Hereth?
Well, I'm gonna kind of weirdly combine Max's and Ari's answer because I feel like this situation was so lucky to happen within the 501st that if it happened anywhere else, I feel like this would have gone completely sideways and completely wrong. And due to Anakin being very Ari's looking for found family, and what Max said of Anakin being kind of loose with everything, that I think they just kind of got lucky with the situation. I think it was just the right clone in the right place.
Char?
I think because Anakin, he shows leniency towards everyone that he's close to. I mean, it's the 501st. I mean, he even tells I forgot who he told to that it would be best if him and Rex would go because obviously they're within the same legion. But no, I feel like if it was Ki-Adi-Mundi or Luminara or any of those, I'd say close-minded. No, not really close-minded, but I would say less
by the book,
less empathetic than Anakin. It wouldn't have been like, oh, you terminate him like how the whole entire arc goes with Fives, but I feel like there would be much more severe consequences, I would say, for executing a Jedi, but there was also an outside motive with the chip, so it wasn't necessarily him that did it. So it was I don't know. It depends on how that Jedi in particular would view the situation.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because Anakin is just instantly when it happens, he's like, we got to get back to base and figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's this could be life or death. This could be something, a new separatist conspiracy. Typically, which is funny because Anakin's more of all right, let's do the jump in type of thing. He actually goes the route of the others. He's like, let's try to think about this logically. What would be Fives' why would he do this? It makes zero sense.
You mean Tup?
Or Tup, yeah. Why would Tup do this? It makes zero sense. Let's figure out what we know and what we don't know because there's a lot of uncertainty right now. So, Anakin figuring, and I do agree with the rest of you that it is tough because all the other Jedi, all Jedi aren't similar, in their leadership perspective, and their beliefs. So it is harder to say, but I definitely think that if it would have been anybody else with the 501st, it would have been get him off the battlefield now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they would have thrown him into transport and put him on Coruscant and tried to put him on trial for murder.
Yeah. Except, I mean, yeah.
And the trial would have lasted 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably 2 days. Well,
because that's realistic.
Yeah, that's
Coruscant.
realistic. Yeah. But yeah, I definitely think that if it would have been anybody else, it would have been.
It would have been a whole different outcome. Whole different.
Would have been a whole different outcome. The second question: why do you think that Tup goes after all the Jedi except for Anakin? This is where you can put your 10 hats on and really start your conspiracy theories here if you want to.
Well, that question, because I hadn't really thought about it, and I had to go back and rewatch it because I was like, oh, he doesn't do that. I just figured he did. Because it really depends on the timeline, I guess, too, because obviously the first thing I thought of, well, Palpatine made something to where he knew Anakin was going to be his apprentice and the chosen one. So Palpatine did something with the chips to make them not target Anakin or make them be like, oh, Anakin's on our side. He's an ally.
Yep.
But if I remember correctly, Sifo Dyas like put in that order before like Anakin was even born.
He put it in around the time of Phantom Menace. He
Okay.
died shortly before Phantom Menace.
Phantom Menace. Okay, so
I think it was a year before the Phantom Menace because it's 9 years. Or no, wait.
You said 10 years, right? 10
It
years.
would be. It would be
It's
around.
10
It
years.
would be the same. It would be the same time period. Yes.
Okay, so I guess with that knowledge, then they wouldn't have known of Anakin yet.
No.
So that was confusing for me. I was like, man, well then how else would he know? Maybe it's just that because I guess I was gonna say that the commander was I'm sorry, what was the alien's name that got shot?
Tiplar.
Tiplar. Like maybe he was like underneath that, but he was underneath Anakin because he was 501st. He wasn't underneath Tiplar. Because I was going to say that maybe that's what triggered it. Is like you're triggered by your general, and that's who you're aimed to kill. But I don't know. I still don't really have an answer for it, to be honest with you, because I was like, man, there's so many different, like you're saying, like put on. I feel like I'm you ever watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Yes,
where he's like touching the board, and there's like a whole bunch of like wires.
Yep.
I feel like that's me right now.
That's You're Charlie trying to figure out. Yeah, absolutely. No, that's like the perfect gift for this episode. To be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you just put fives where Charlie is, and it's just like fives trying to figure out the entire plot of Revenge of the Sith. But yeah, Ari, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's the same reason why the clones don't go after Anakin during Order 66. But I don't know what that reason is either. And it's funny because as I was watching, before I looked at the questions, I was like thinking about it. Not even specifically in this, but I was thinking about it in terms of actual Order 66. I was like, wait a minute. Anakin doesn't like have to fight off any clones or anything like that. It's like super strange. And then I read the question and I was like, oh, this is interesting. But yeah, I have no idea. Not a clue in the world. I'm not smart enough with lore to even begin to speculate. So
do you think it's because Palpatine, like, he was able to do something with the protocol that he switched it and was like, hey,
like, you know enough
Skywalker's very important. Let's switch up this protocol on the chips before we start mass producing these assholes.
Yeah, he amended the inhibitor chip constitution. Yes.
Yeah.
And I guess they could have changed them over time too, right?
Yes.
Like, because like there was constantly batches of clones being made, so like you could just like the first batch of clones might have not had that, like it was all Jedi were killed, you know, and then after that they could have like updated the software or whatever.
Yeah, you don't have the correct iOS to execute Anakin Skywalker.
The 501st has iOS 15.1.3. Everyone else has 15.1.2.
No, I definitely
Get an update.
I definitely think that could be a answer lore-wise element if we've got answer to that. I just don't know if there's been a canon explanation to it quite yet, but that's what I choose to think, because I mean Palpatine's always scheming.
But also,
no, go ahead, Ari.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking about our like timeline here. If we think about the fact that the order was put in for the clones around the Phantom Menace, and we know that like Duel of the Fates has significance because we know that Anakin is the chosen one by that point, could we not assume that Palpatine like also knows that? So potentially, like when the order was put in, he already knew. Potentially, I'm just thinking about that.
The canon explanation for why Anakin was not thought about by the clones.
Yeah, why he wasn't targeted when his chip was activated.
Well, I feel like it's just simply that Palpatine just said, "Hey, don't go after him."
Yeah.
Well, there
could be that simple.
Yeah.
There could plague it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
stuff we're not seeing, like when he says execute Order 66, the camera cuts away, but potentially he continues to be like, but don't kill Anakin.
That could be it.
Well, and Plagueis, which I know isn't canon, it's Legends, but Plagueis refers to the Chosen One, and that he wants to, before Palpatine kills him, that he's going to go to, he's like sensed it through the Force or something like that, and that he's going to go to Tatooine to like visit the Chosen One. Granted, that's Legends, so who knows, but maybe that was something.
Remy coming in hot. I think this makes a lot of sense. I think for Order 66, Anakin was technically no longer considered a Jedi, though. It's how...
Yeah, I was just about to say exactly what Caleb responded. Like, I mean, Jesse still tried going after her.
Yeah.
But with Ahsoka, Maul, and Anakin, they all got exemptions. Like, Ahsoka got the exemption of you got to kill her, you got to kill Maul. I mean, I think Palpatine made an exemption. Do not kill Anakin under no means. Kind of like, maybe he had a contingency for Dooku as well. Like, don't touch Dooku, don't touch Anakin.
Well,
yeah,
Lord Vader and Lord Sidious.
Stormtrooper aim immediately. Okay.
Yeah.
And then once his head goes, Anakin, when you see him, Stormtrooper aim.
Yeah, Lord Vader /
Except
Lord Sidious. Lord Vader / Lord Sidious was programmed into Order 66. As Rex calls him Lord Sidious after the order is enacted. That is very, very true. Also the Inquisitors were shot in the comics because they were once Jedi. That is very true. I remember that from Vader 2017, right? 2017? Yeah.
Yeah, 2017 was the
prequel. The prequel Inquisitor arcs. Those are
honestly,
really good.
I think the main reason why it happened is because Anakin hit the pause button and changed teams, and so they didn't recognize it. So he was just like, change teams, bloop, and he's on.
He was playing Rocket League. He was like, "Oh, blue team's not cutting it. I gotta join orange. Orange has 3 more goals."
Yeah, Char, what are your thoughts on why they didn't kill him?
Well, there's a song that I used to listen to when I was a kid. It's by the band called Paramore. It goes like this: "You are the only exception."
Oh God!
That's essentially what it is. So Anakin is just excluded from the situation because I feel like, even like, I think it was maybe during the Clone Wars that maybe if the time came, because we all know that Palpatine has plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G if something fails. So I think that he already had it into like in play, because once he met him in the Phantom Menace, and he's like, "We will watch your career with great interest." But he was like, "You know what? I will make sure that if anything happens with the clones, like this malfunctioning, that Anakin won't be shot at. He wants him intact for Revenge of the Sith." So,
yeah,
that's my thoughts. Diet said,
Pep said, well, in addition to an additional headcanon of mine, in addition to that, is that Palpatine had been grooming Anakin from the start. And so, in addition to programming Sidious vs. Vader, he programmed Anakin, which is very, very feasible. And I think that's probably very, very true.
I wonder how cool that would be if you already had the name Vader set in stone. The start.
Yeah.
Like, once he comes, he will become Vader, and we're going to have a tea party. I don't know.
I mean, that makes more sense than him just randomly making it up on the spot and then
Jedi blood.
I kind of like it. He's just like, "Fuck it, you're Vader."
I mean, Revenge of the Sith when does that with Padme when she gives birth. Right when they come out of the womb, they're like, "Oh, look, it's Luke. Oh, it's Leia." right when he turns to the dark side, he's like, "You know what? What's a good name for him? Oh, you shall be known as
Darth
Vader."
I love how he does like the longest. I'm like, dude, are you? No, yeah, that's funny. Henceforth, you shall be known as Darth Father. I mean Vader. That's perfect though.
I thought that was cool though that during, I think it was at Celebration. I think that was where I was watching it at home. He was talking about how he came up with the voice of Palpatine, and he was like, he studied like frogs or whatever.
Yeah.
To like get that kind of like low, kind of croaky voice, because he's like, he thought that was the villain voice. I thought that was interesting.
The Emperor of the Universe ribbits every once in a while.
No, yeah, he's Ian McDermott is something else. He's a man amongst boys when it comes to acting as Emperor Palpatine. But
an entire legion of my best stormtroopers awaits them. Okay.
Yeah. So obviously Tup gets captured. They try to send him off to Coruscant to figure out what's going on. They get intercepted by the Separatists, and that leads us into episode 2, Conspiracy. 10 hats on, people. 10 hats.
Especially for the title. I mean, hey. Okay, I think I might have to just take off my headset and like mute my my output, because I mean, I can't hear. If I'm doing Godfrey, it hurts my ears. So
okay.
All right.
Now you feel my pain.
Okay, so right here. All right, I'm gonna take my headphones off. Okay.
All right.
Mute now. All right. So season 6, episode 2, Conspiracy. A flaw in the plan. While in the middle of a heated battle, Clone Trooper Tup lost his senses and killed the Jedi General, seeming to have no awareness of his actions. Tup's health began to deteriorate rapidly. Fearing the illness was linked to a separatist plot, Anakin Skywalker has dispatched Captain Rex and ARC Trooper 5555 to escort Tup back to the cloning facilities on Kamino for an intensive evaluation. Oh my god, as soon as I unmute my volume, we're going to be like, oh, 5555.
Oh, man.
Hi.
I don't know.
You see, in the plot summary, it said 5555, but I mean, Hereth, for the amount of times I said 5, I think you might have to give me a 5.
I'm sorry, I can't obey that order, because I'm not a clone. I don't follow orders. So that's a 4.
Okay, Hereth.
Wow.
Your work here is finished, my friend.
Wow. Ari, your thoughts?
It's a 5 for me still. Like,
oh, hey.
See, now that's what I'm talking about. See,
you got 2
Hereth,
more episodes.
Why
You
can't
got
you be
2
like Ari?
You got
Why
2 more.
Can't you?
You've got 2 more episodes to keep that up. So good luck.
yeah,
Max.
it's that high.
Yeah, I'm still gonna stick with the 5, man. We gotta this whole podcast is about the number 5, so we gotta keep it with the 5s.
You see,
All
Hereth,
right.
at this point, it makes you feel like that you're just saying anything less than a 5 just because you want to feel different.
No, it's because you got to earn that, baby.
Oh wow. Wow.
You're outnumbered, my friend.
All right. So Conspiracy, episode 2 of season 6.
I will take this episode.
Sounds good to
my
me.
good friends. All right. So the beginning of this episode. So we begin with they get Tup back from the Separatists, and they take him to Kamino to figure out what the main problem is with him. And he is on the brink of death right here. He's hardly functioning. So they're trying to get him to Kamino as fast as possible. And when they get there, they're met by Shaak Ti, because Shaak Ti is on there training the clone troopers, as you see in the Clone Cadets episode. And she's been on Kamino for the majority of the war, training clone troopers. And we meet Nala Se, which Nala Se plays a big part in the Bad Batch. But the first time we see her is during that I believe it was the Geonosian Worms episode, I believe, with when she was on the medical frigate with Kit Fisto. But when we get there, we see Shaak Ti and Nala Se have a discussion about what is going on with Tup. What is the main problem with this clone? Because Nala Se knows exactly what's going on, but Shaak Ti has a little bit of like a little bit of a hole to dig. So what does the debate between Shaak Ti and Nala Se say about how both the Republic and the Kaminoans view the clones?
You want me to go first? You want to go first? Or?
Okay, you talk first. I talk first. Go ahead, anybody.
Man, you sure love fives, Ari, but you're not chomping at the bit?
Okay, well, that's a loaded question. Okay. You know what? Yeah, I'll go first. So here's the thing. First things first, I have beef with Nalase. Let's just get that out of the way. And all the Kaminoans, to be honest. But I do think that this kind of shows that the Republic, I think that the Republic thinks it values clones and clone lives. And I genuinely believe that they do. However, there comes a point where how much can you value the lives of something that you are breeding to go into war, you know? So I think they do care, but there's a line there. The Kaminoans, on the other hand, I don't think they give a shit. They're just in it for the paycheck, which is why I do think that Nalase is definitely like trying to terminate Top and kind of cover it up more, because she knows that if the Kaminoans screw this up, if it gets out, then they're not going to make more clones, they're not going to make more money. That's like the short version, TLDR of how I feel.
Yeah. Remy's with ya. She's a Bad Batch girl. So she loves her some clone. She loves Wolf. She loves
Wolf.
Hunter.
Who doesn't love Hunter?
I feel like when we get to Bad Batch eventually, it's just gonna be us and Remy talking Bad Batch. It's gonna be hilarious. It's gonna be great. Look for that in about 3 years.
Get the Rebels and Resistance first.
I mean, yeah. So, Max, your thoughts on the question?
Well, there's definitely a difference. I think clones to the Kaminoans are just numbers on a spreadsheet, man. Like they care about is profit. They say it throughout, like all the the first thing we hear about Kaminoans is that he's like, how big, it depends on how big your pocketbook is, you know, like that's like literally the first thing he says about the Kaminoans. Dex. So if you couldn't tell from my shoddy impersonation, that was Dex.
Love it. More Dexter Jetster references in this podcast.
But yeah, and I kind of agree. I think the Jedi could definitely do a better job at caring for the clones, but I also feel like they kind of take like a doctor's approach to like death and like sickness and stuff like that. They can't let it interfere with like their feelings and getting the job done the way the Jedi need to get the job done. So it's like they care up to like, I think they have like a limit. Like obviously some care more than others. Like see, like Plo Koon like really cares. Anakin cares about his. I feel like Obi-Wan does. You see that throughout the Clone Wars. But again, I think they kind of take like more of a doctor's style approach to like death and all that jazz.
Mm-hmm.
Hereth?
Well, I would say besides the money point, like you could tell like this entire arc now, let's say it's just like anytime they bring up any like information like with like the virus or the tumor or anything of that sorts, now let's say it's like it doesn't matter because we need to terminate him now. And it's just like you could tell that like again like you all said, it's like all about, she only cares about her pocketbooks with Sidious and Tyrannus. Like because like the second the Jedi get out of the room, she's like, I need to talk to Mama Sue, and like we need to talk about how like we need to talk to Tyrannus about they're going to figure this out. So it's just like you could tell that the Kaminoans are so single-minded on their goal, while the Jedi are like trying to just get to the bottom of this.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think it's more their pocketbook. I think it's got a little to do with that, but I think it's their standpoint in the galaxy as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're very, very important right now. The Jedi find out that there's this order that kills them. They will turn on the Kaminoans and find everything out. So there's a lot more at stake than just the money portion of it. I think it's their stake in the galaxy. Hell, they have their own seat in the Senate when the planet was erased from the entire Jedi archives 10 years prior, you know? And it's just, I think it's more galactic stuff than.
I would also say if they found out about everything, I wouldn't say they have the Jedi to worry about. I think that it's the 2 Sith Lords they have to worry about.
Oh well, yeah. Yeah, but then the Jedi would have found out that order and would have survived, and probably the Sith wouldn't have survived. But I digress. Char, what are your thoughts?
Same exact thing that Ari said is that the Kaminoans don't care, but the Jedi do. We see this many times. You see this when Plo saves the the clones from when they were outer space, when they're like, "Your lives matter to me," and you see this with a lot of it. You see this with Anakin. You see this with Ahsoka. That the Jedi care. The Jedi care about the lives of the clones, as juxtaposes to the Kaminoans that are like, "Yeah, we make more money for me." They don't care. It's whatever makes them more money. That's essentially what it is. And yeah.
All right, transition into the next question there, bud. You got this episode.
All right, so we have some tests done at top, figuring out what is wrong with him exactly. So Nalase does a few examinations on him. She does a level 1 brain scan. It's a level 2 brain scan. Level 2 brain scan on him, and they find out that he's perfectly healthy. There is nothing wrong with him. And AZ, which is a droid that we love in Bad Batch, that we wish we get more in this show. He suggests that we do a level 5 atomic scan to find what is wrong with him. But Nalase is sure that there's maybe complications with this virus from what's the planet again called? Ringo.
Yeah, Ringo Mindo.
Ringo. Yeah. There's a virus from that planet that's corrupting his head, and it was a separatist plot that made his inhibitor chip decay. But so she requests that they terminate him, and they're like, wait, before we make that decision, because Shakti likes to intervene with her. Shakti's like, hey, let's talk about this with the council before we make any decisions. Let's negotiate this before we just jump the gun and kill him to find out what's wrong with him, even though it was smart that Shakti intervened, because damn well that they were going to eliminate him and then just probably throw him in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Like no evidence. But so Nalase is adamant about killing Tup. How does this differ from her maternal actions towards Omega in Bad Batch? I'll start with Hereth, since we're
shout out Alanis with the questions.
Yeah, Alanis, thank you. I don't know if you're watching, but thank you once again, our beloved ghostwriter.
It just goes back to what I was saying with my top with like the Kaminoans, like, because it's very obvious that like they just have this fire underneath with Palpatine and Tyrannus that if they don't succeed, they will die. So it's like they have this like drive, like we need to get rid of this now. Like you said, they need to just kill Tup, throw him in an ocean somewhere, and hope the Jedi never find out. While with Omega, it was more of like a personal project to see what they could do with the clones and if they could push it farther. And they kind of like, again, like I said, like they got the first female clone, so it was more of like that style of testing. It's very two radically different situations, in my opinion. So I feel like it's kind of weird to compare the two.
Mm-hmm.
I would disagree.
Yeah, we'll get to in a second, Luke. Ari, go ahead and share your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I have beef with Nalase, and so I think she's just.
Well,
I just think everything she does, I'm just like, I don't really have like a lot of concrete reasons for why. She just bad vibes. I do think though that a bit similar to Hereth. Omega is like a special clone in a sense. And I think I think Nalase probably views her as a better asset and worth more. Because like, I mean, Tup, there's however many copies of him essentially. That's how she feels. That's not how I feel. Okay, let's be clear on that. But I think she probably thinks that he's just more expendable. Like, who cares? Whereas Omega, like, I feel like she's invested more into Omega. You know?
That makes
That's
sense. That makes sense. Max?
Well, I think kind of echoing what everybody said so far. Nalase, I don't think really has a connection with Tub. He's just, like I said, like another number on the spreadsheet. Whereas like she actually like made Omega. And you know, I think there's a whole bunch of factors going on. Omega's kind of like, she's like the chosen one for like the clones because she's like literally the only one of her kind. I guess Boba, but like Boba's the same as every other clone, just not, he doesn't have acceleration, you know. She's like 100% something. Like they used DNA from a male to create like a female, you know, so like she's like super important. So I feel like the reason why I say chosen one is because I feel like it's kind of the same as like Palpatine grooming like Anakin. It's kind of like the same, like Palpatine needs so much potential in Anakin. I think the potential is there, like with Omega too, for just a new age of cloning, because the Kaminoans are like the only ones that are cloning and the only ones that know how to do it, and it's like a new endeavor, like a new experiment. So I think it's like super important for Nalase on multiple levels. To not that I like Nalase or anything like that, but I think it's that Omega is alive, and then that Tub is just bye. You know, who cares?
Basically. So you're saying you don't like Nalase because you don't like Nalase, or are you just saying that because you want to protect yourself from Ari's wrath?
No, I mean, I'm like, Kaminoans are pretty low on my list of favorite characters, so they kind of just fly underneath the radar. I have no dog in that hunt, really.
Yeah. How often do you come across someone saying, "Yeah, my favorite character in Star Wars is Taun We,"
or Malasu?
Boba is your father.
Anakin. I mean, Attack of the Clone stands be eaten on this episode. I tell you what.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and then once, Luke, go ahead and share your thoughts.
Yeah. So obviously they value Omega extremely because, like, God damn it.
I digress.
You don't know till you know, I guess.
Not funny.
Alanis is saying things that I have not.
Is it just the voice? Never mind.
Oh. Stop.
Oh my goodness. Now she's got me all frazzled now.
Oh, fight.
Oh jeez.
Out of all the things Star Wars fans could argue about, it's Nalase. Wow.
Oh, my God. I think she I think she does value Omega, obviously, because it is her. It is hers. And it's just it is different. But again, I also think that it's because of their stance in Galactic Republic. Oh my God.
Your opinion on Yoda is Con Air. Oh. Shoo.
Anyway, I guess I'm just gonna let you know what, Alanis, if you want to talk so much, come in here and you be the host, okay?
Luke,
you're just gonna derail it. No, but it's an interesting conversation, and it brings into morals and what their thoughts are on the clones as wholes. Are they just expendable beings to them, which obviously is the thought. But then you do have Omega, who Lamase does gravitate towards, because it is something that she worked on. What are you making that face for, Hereth?
The chat.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. The chat has started talking about Chopper now, which is
not just
yeah,
Chopper,
but
simply for Chopper. That's why I was like, what?
Luke, is that the rest of your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done at this point.
Okay.
Hereth gets to take the third episode.
No, yeah. So at the beginning at the very end of the second episode, we have Fives in the other room trying to, like, he's super he's super concerned about what's happening to Tup, what is going on, what's the status, and then AZ fills him in, and we that's essentially where it ends off at. So
sure, roll that summary.
All right, so season 6, episode 3.
Are you gonna see this with Tom Kane, or are you gonna do all Godfrey the entire
Fugitive.
time?
Godfrey. Oh, Godfrey.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to mute. Oh, mute in 3, 2, 1. All right. Season 6, episode 3, Fugitive. Cause of death unknown. Kaminoan doctor Nalase was unable to find the cause of an illness in clone trooper Tup. In a desperate attempt to save his friend's life, Fives located and removed a tumor from Tup's brain with the help of a medical droid AZ-3. Immediately following the procedure, Tup died, and Fives was placed under arrest. Now the tumor is in the only hope for finding answers to Tup's mysterious illness.
That's a 5. That's a 5. I don't know.
That's a 5. No, I was gonna give it a 4.5 just to be spiteful.
Oh,
but
God damn it. That was
Tup
perfect.
died.
Yeah, Tup died. Oh my God.
Or no, it was just a stress, and then the Tup died that pushed it to 5.
You like that? You like that? See, I like doing that sometimes because when I add emphasis on some words, it gets Luke to laugh.
God.
Like, remember when I said 2000?
Yeah. Oh my God.
But it was the Tup die.
Yeah.
Yes.
Straight up, just like you emphasize the die part. We're giving it 5 rounds, right? 5's around because I feel like
yeah,
Pat, we have not hit that stage yet. We are starting episode 3. Episode 4 is where the fun begins.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the fun and beginning, the moral of this arc is: when in doubt, go to the source.
Yes.
Indeed.
You got it.
You're just like you can swim, son.
If you didn't know you clogged the plunger, flush the toilet.
Well, that's all, folks. You'll see us at. No, just kidding. This has become a clusterfuck.
All right, go ahead.
Again, I feel like this ties into like what I was saying earlier in episode 1 about like how if it's like if it's happened in either clone battalion, do you think there'd be any links that Rex and Fives did, or you think this is just the actions of the 501st?
Ari, I just love
Ari's just like deep in thought.
I'm like, don't pick me. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. Okay. I'm gonna read some of my notes that I've written.
That's fine.
I said, this is verbatim, so it's not gonna be great. I said, it's hard to say because we don't really see a ton of other battalions, but I do think that all the clones have the brotherly vibes, so probably. And also, they probably would be equally worried for themselves, YENNO, YENNO, question mark.
Question though, Ari.
Then I do write, we do see the 212 drinking with each other, and that's just where my thoughts ended. So, I do agree with myself, past me from 2 hours ago, that probably, right? Especially when you think about some of the other Jedi that are like leading the different battalions. I do think it might depend on the Jedi. But I do think, the clones, we see that recurring theme of brothers across all of them, not just the 501st. So I think they could definitely care about each other in similar ways.
Well, think about this as well. Think about the individualism that they have in even the cat and mouse. Not cat and mouse, or the traitor.
The hidden enemy.
Yeah, hidden enemy.
Yep.
It's not just the 501st. It's the 212th as well, because they're working together. So I mean, there's a lot of characteristics there as well. But Max.
I mean, I think try to find my words here. The adaptability to like the situations. I think the 501st is definitely probably the best at it because Anakin is by far the best that we've seen of adapting to certain situations. But I kind of agree. I mean, like it's kind of like I guess the only thing I'm thinking of is like kickboxing or like martial arts or whatever. Like each teacher is going to teach you something like different, right? So like think of the teachers as like the Jedi, like their students aren't going to know like what one teacher teaches because they only know what that teacher teaches. But if they go and they talk to each other and talk strategy, which we know that they did because Rex did that with a lot of the 501st and stuff like that, I'm sure they're drinking at bars and talking about that stuff as well.
79s.
Yeah, I'm sure some of it bleeds over, but I don't think it would be as efficient as the 501st just because they're being led literally by example.
Yeah, that's a good point. Remy, I would suggest you not go watch last week's episode because there was a lot of Fox slander. Not specifically by me. Not specifically me, but that was done.
I can't even recall the last time I've ever heard anything good about Fox. I'm sorry, but
no,
I don't hear it very often.
Qui-Gon buddies, St. Pat and Ari are Qui-Gon buddies. Our besties.
I died when I saw him.
My everything. I had to pause because I was crying so hard I couldn't see the TV.
Why didn't we get a reaction? Why didn't we get a reaction?
Perhaps
you do.
I'll send you the video. It's quite common.
Ari, you have video of me on a TikTok live reenacting the Revenge of the Sith movie. So I feel like one for an arm for an arm. Like I'm just saying. I won't release it.
We got to trade here.
Ari having extremely emotional Qui-Gon reactions.
No, have you seen his reaction, Ari?
No.
Oh, we got to show you that later. Oh, it's great. Okay. It's fantastic.
We'll Qui-Gon reactions later, after hours. Pod 1 after hours.
Yeah, Pod 1 after hours.
Pod 1's after dark.
Patreon exclusive content coming soon when we hit 1,000 subs.
Yeah, Luke's gonna start an OnlyFans. I'm kidding.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Pat, I can't post it. I'll lose my credibility. It's really sad and pathetic.
Really? Are you? Wait. Hold on. We're talking credibility. I posted a video of the trailer, for God's sake.
You know what? So true.
I was crying within the last 5. Like I didn't even last 5 seconds into that trailer, and I was completely gone.
I mean, Luke got slandered as hell in the comments with the reactions. Come on, if we're being up here, releasing stuff and being vulnerable.
Yeah,
I think I posted part of it. I did. I'm remembering now because I have beef with TikTok. I forget these things, but I did post like 5 sequends of it on TikTok.
Yeah, that's why it didn't go anywhere because it's only 5 seconds.
I'll send you guys a video later. You can laugh.
Yes,
it's quite funny.
Thank you, chat. Thank you, Pat, for peer pressuring Ari into making content.
I'll send it to you too.
Yes. All right.
Anybody else?
Anyway. Yeah. Might as well, at this point, you might as well just send it to us and we'll post it. If you don't publicly, this is true. She's right.
Facts. That is a fact.
Yeah, that is facts. If you don't publicly embarrass yourself, are you even a Star Wars TikToker?
Oh my God! Whenever I'm in my car driving on the road, I blare Star Wars music, and I don't feel a single bit of
in the Ranger.
I don't feel any embarrassment. I could be next to like 20 cars. I can just blare Duel to Fates and not feel anything weird going on in my body. I can be like. And everyone's gonna be like, "Who the hell is that guy? Stop! You're weird." And I'm just like,
and then I just imagine no, I just hear the dun 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 dun. Just imagine you like revving the car. Like,
I'm like rocking the car back and forth, going nuts.
Oh Jesus! But I definitely think to kind of take away from what Hereth was asking, I think it's very characteristic of the 501st because, like we've been saying, and it's been repetitive. They are going to stick together no matter what. We do see the connections of brothers a lot within the other battalions, but it's more so in the 501st. And I think that's because we do get to see that's the legion in the 212th, or the two legions that we see the most of in the entire series, is those two battalions specifically. So maybe that's why we don't get as much with the other battalions, is because our main characters, Anakin and Obi-Wan, obviously, are leading those two battalions.
Yeah, and we get a spice of everything else. We get a spice of the 327th with Ayla Secura. We get some 104th with Plo. We get some 332nd with Ahsoka in season 7. We get
which is just 501st 2.0, which just all the toxic parts
essentially
removed.
Yeah, but no, that's what I think. Char.
Yeah, I think it's just the same as what you said too. It's like, I think that the 501st has like their own special vibe to them, where it's like they have like this weird type of heroism within each one of them that makes us stand out. That makes them stand out to us more, because whenever you hear of Kix, Jesse, Rex, Fives, Echo, we're just like, oh yes. But like, you don't really
get the same reaction for that, like Bly.
Like earlier, like in the arc, you see Clone Commander Doom, and you're like, oh, cool. Like,
yeah.
Which I mean,
like whatever.
Interesting fact, not a part of my facts, but he was inspired by Dr. Doom.
Anyway,
with the green draping.
Nice. No, yeah, those clones earlier on were that was a badass battalion. They look so cool. Oh God, here we go. No Bly slander. He hardly gets any screen time. What do you want me to say?
He's in the early seasons in Attack of the Clones. Okay, Alanis, we get it. You're an Attack of the Clones stan. We understand.
We get it. Anyway.
I don't think we got any Max's thoughts.
Max?
No, I said something.
Okay, I was just double checking.
I think I'm pretty sure. I'm like thinking back. Did. Now you got me second guessing.
Yeah.
Did I say words?
Yeah. Hereth, go ahead. Second question.
Well, again, the episode kind of like cheaply begins just like with like Fives throwing AZ into the water. Like, can you swim? And he's like, do you have like the survival check? And then like Fives and AZ like infiltrate into Camino, and like they go through, and they're going through like the little cadets, and like they're sneaking their way in, and like you just see this kind of this bond between Fives and AZ start to form. So again, you just kind of see Five goes to trust AZ in the end. How does this differ from like the other clones, and why did they trust Fives trust a droid so much?
Okay, I have thoughts.
All right, go.
I have thoughts. 2 reasons for me. Well, okay, obviously, the clones don't trust droids because they fight droids every day. But the 2 main reasons I think that Fives is willing to trust AZ is, 1, he's very easy to manipulate. Fives is the OG gaslight girl boss. He's fully into like doing what he wanted in the first episode. It's like, oh, but you have to save everybody above everything, like that's in your program. Yeah, gaslighter, and you know what? I love him for it. But 2, I think a very pivotal moment happens. I think it's episode 3. I literally watched these an hour ago, but they all blur together. Where AZ is like talking about how, oh yeah, we're gonna both go get our memories wiped, blah blah blah. Yes. He just says that to him, and I think that shows Fives that like AZ has no loyalty, no love for the Kaminoans. Like he doesn't really care. He's very neutral, and therefore potentially a very good ally. And like again with the whole, he's able to manipulate him. I think that's a big thing as well. But I think those are the main reasons why. And also he doesn't like what else is he gonna do? He doesn't really have a choice.
AZ. Oh, I wish I had human feelings. All right, goodbye.
I just love that so much.
Yeah.
Honestly, can he be glub shitto, or is he in too much?
No, I'd say he's a glub shitto.
AZ's a glub shitto.
Yeah, he's a glub shitto. I'd say he's a glub shitto.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to have a big importance in Bad Batch. That's what I was so shocked about when he was a huge part. Because when they got back to Camino, he was there. I mean, I don't know if that's the exact same AZ droid, but
yeah.
Because I mean, they were talking about decommissioning the droid, so
yeah. Well, just like they decommissioned the clones. Anyway,
Too soon.
Max, your thoughts?
I mean, I would say pretty much the same thing. I think, when he's like, I wish I had like human emotion. He's like, but I do not. I think they kind of I don't know. He kind of like resonates with a lot of that stuff because they're kind of stuck in very similar situations throughout the whole thing, and he's kind of all he's got. Like at that point, like it's either like I trust this droid or like I potentially lose my friend. Like I gotta find a way, and I'm gonna make it happen. So I think that's a big part of it.
No, yeah. Whatever. Char, your thoughts?
Well, just to put it simple, I'd say it's weird that he would trust AZ. I mean, because he's there to help them. I mean, because clones are aware that they don't like droids because of like the battles they've had. But I think that Fives has the decency to understand like what their programming is for, because he's aware that battle droids are programmed for, guess what, battle. But AZ is meant to help and assist and do this. So I think that, and also AZ was able to just like fill him in on top situation that Fives wouldn't have known about if AZ didn't help him. So I think that it helped. Like it's like a cool connection between the two, and especially like when they get off the planet and Fives is like droids and they're flying away. But it always makes me feel good to see clones lighten up about droids in a way. I'm not like talking about like specifically R2 units, because R2 units are like kind of the exception, because except for R3S6, screw you.
Yeah, R3, fuck Goldie. He's a douche.
But no, I love seeing characters that have a bad taste of droids, and then eventually like enjoying them. It's kind of like Mando in season 1 in a way. So
yep. Yeah. Alana says it. I also think survival instincts have to do with it as well. Everyone who he once trusted is now a liar. So why not just trust a droid? You're not wrong. Like she said, the neutrality, they don't really care at this point. They don't care for the Kaminoans, but they also don't really care for the clones. It's just they're kind of just there. You know what I mean?
It's just basic instinct survival at this point.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. That is going to be it for
episode
Fugitives. 3. Now on to the hard-hitting questions in episode 4, Orders. Char, take it away.
Char, don't do Godfrey. Come on, you can't top that. Don't even try to. Just do
do
classic Kane.
Hey, just to answer your question, Pat. Yes.
It's begun now. We're going in all in.
Wait. So what do you want me to do, Hereth?
Kane.
You want me to do Kane? Oh, how generous of you! It's gonna be subpar. How about I do a Darth Maul one? Ooh,
next week? How about next week?
Maul.
How about this? For this one time, I'll try to do a Sam Witwer Maul reading of this. Let's see how that goes. Okay, ready?
Oh, this is gonna go bad. Oh God, I have bad feeling about this.
Season 6, episode 4, Orders. Clone crisis. After the mysterious death of his friend Tup, ARC Trooper 5 embarked on an investigation which led to the discovery of a hidden chip which is placed inside clone troopers when they are still embryos. The Kaminoan scientist Nalase claims the chip is harmless and is meant to restrain the clones from violent, unpredictable action. Fives claims otherwise and has convinced Jedi Master Shakti to allow him to plead his case directly to Supreme Chancellor Palpatine on Coruscant.
You sound so dumb.
Okay, Char.
You should do it, Dooku.
Char, I'm sorry, but I'm not.
That's a 1.
It's a 1.
Yeah. You do a really good Dooku though. So you should try doing Duke.
That didn't even
Crisis.
sound like Sam Whitworth. That sounds
After
like
the
Kirsten
mysterious
Whitworth.
death of his friend Tup, ARC Trooper 5s embarked on an investigation which led to the discovery of a hidden chip which is placed inside clone troopers when they are
Which
still
makes sense more
embryos.
if he does
the
it there.
Kaminoan scientist Nala Se
He's in
claims
this
the chip is
episode.
harmless and is meant to restrain the clones from violent, unpredictable action. Fives claims otherwise and has convinced Jedi Master Shak Ti to allow him to plead his case directly to Supreme Chancellor Palpatine on Coruscant.
Char,
I think that's a better. I think it's better.
There's no saving this one. I'm sorry. You just take the one and leave it. You get a 5 and a 1 and
hang your
then
Tampa Bay Buccaneers hat on that, all right, Bucko?
Yeah.
Anyway. So the moral of the final episode of this arc is as follows: the popular belief isn't always the correct one.
Love you, Pat.
So basically, they bring Fives to Coruscant. They bring him to the facility. They don't take him to the Jedi Temple because why would they do that? They got overruled, obviously. So they bring him to Palpatine. Palpatine does his whole song and dance. Let me stay with him by myself. I've got security here. It'll be fine.
Can I make a joke real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Palpatine basically tells Fives the entire plot of Revenge of the Sith. Like he pulls up the Matthew Stover novelization.
Yes.
Like, let me sit you down and tell you a story about what the hell is gonna happen.
Oh baby, get ready, cause it is coming. Anyway, oh, you stop that, Separatist boy.
In terms of this arc,
stop that.
In terms of this arc, Pat is very much so correct.
He is not wrong.
Yeah,
Sorry,
but the Separatists are also to blame for the war. It doesn't matter. We're not going to get into this right now. No.
The Republic is corrupt, and the Separatists were just led astray.
Shut up. Because they were dumb. Anyway, do you think Palpatine expected a clone to figure out Order 66 before a Jedi did? Do you think he planned for anyone to find out at all? Max, I'm gonna start with you.
I'm gonna go with no. Like, they were very secretive. Palpatine for years was developing this plan. I don't think he would just like let it kind of fall into anybody's lap. Not that it really fell into Fives' lap, but like I don't think he would let it, unless it was like for some like beneficial gain and where like they would die instantly, kind of like Fives. Like he told Fives because he knew Fives was going to react all crazy and hysterical, and then he could just be like, oh well, he's obviously broken, execute him, and then he doesn't have to worry about it anymore. So I feel like on like the manipulation standpoint, I think Palpatine curved it really well because it was just a couple seconds of him just saying a few words and all his problems went away.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I definitely agree with that. With like I don't think Palpatine. I think it's kind of like Palpatine Phantom Menace. I don't think he's like, oh, I'm just gonna let all of this magically happen and then like magically pull it back up. Like, no, this is clearly like a mistake from the start.
No, yeah, absolutely. Ari.
I think I don't know what I think. Here's the thing. Palpatine like knew everything, right? He knew everything. Yes. He had everything planned. So it's like, yeah, maybe he did have this plan, but also why? Like, why? It feels way too risky, and he's like smart enough to like, you know what I mean? So like that's where I go back and forth. But I think I lean towards no, this wasn't planned, and he was panicking. And I kind of like that better because I do like the notion of Palpatine panicking. Makes me feel better. But yeah,
because he's always 16 steps ahead of everybody else.
He's always 16 steps ahead, and like I just feel like yes, from the one perspective, it's like, well, he like had planned both sides of the war. Like, how could he not kind of foresee this or have this planned? But also, I do think that he's only a man, and this was a mistake, and he was cunning enough to get out of it, as we saw. I don't know how don't even get me started on how he managed to convince the Jedi it was a virus. Like, that's so shady. His explanation was so shady. In fact, when I watched this, time I made a TikTok about it in my car, and it was just me yelling about how the Jedi actually deserve to die. And honestly, I stand by that because like you know what? Whatever. I said what I said, and I stand by it.
Is she wrong though? Is she wrong?
Bestie? Damn.
Am I wrong? Here's the other thing too. I know this comes later.
You're gonna tell me? You're gonna look at me and you're gonna tell me that I'm wrong? Am I wrong?
Because legitimately, like 5 episodes from now, they like find out that the Separatists are the ones that actually like ordered the clones, and they're like, "Oh, cool! Our enemies gave us an enemy. Like, let's just keep using them." Like, they couldn't cross-reference
the pieces. They had all the pieces.
Like, obviously, the Republic doesn't understand the enemy. The enemy of my enemy is my enemy.
So true.
There's no friends.
Well, I mean, Obi-Wan clearly sees Jango, like clearly sees his face, and then sees all the grown-up clones, and doesn't. You're telling me he doesn't put 2 and 2 together? Like, hey, bad guy looks like clones. You know, like. There's always like little plot holes like that, but you just can't look too far into it.
Like the clones were orchestrated 10 years ago. Sifo Dyas died 10 years ago, and Attack of the Clones. Like, put 2 and 2 together. I cannot.
Christopher. Oh my God. Anyway.
We'll get to that when we get to it.
Yeah, we'll get to that when we get to it. Good Lord. Oh my God. No.
It's come to this. Oh no.
No. Uh-oh.
Yeah, Mom, I'm scared.
Yeah.
No, this is how Liberty dies, with Fox's gunshots.
Damn.
Rip. Oh, damn. Put an F in the chat for that one.
F in the chat for Fox. Actually,
why for
L
Fox?
in the chat. L in the chat.
Fuck
no offense, Remy, but
fuck Fox. Anyway, I think it's interesting because I kind of agree with Ari. This is like the first time we ever see like Palpatine like, oh fuck, oh shit, like we gotta do something here. Like we can't. Maybe if I tell him, maybe he'll go off and do something crazy, and then I'll be back into my kind of chair.
Like I said, he just gave him the script to Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah,
like, here you go.
Yeah. Nobody's gonna believe you, little man. Nobody's going to believe you. So, like, it's almost ingenious. Like, he is panicking for sure because he's like, oh, it could be the virus, and then he's like, let me talk to Fives alone, and then he's like, 20 minutes later. Oh no, he's gone mad. Oh, it's just like
he tried to kill
me. Yeah, you can only try that more than once. And no, if you're Palpatine, you get it times 2. You get a times 2 in Uno, and you get to use it all the time.
And you know what's funny about that too? After that happens, after the clones go chasing after Fives, and it's just Nala saying him in the room, and then he just gets up. He's like, "I will take these samples to my facility."
Yes. He's like, good job, Nalase. I will take these. These will now we can destroy the evidence. And I'm like, you fucking idiots.
I just love how Tim Curry is just playing up the scenes this entire arc. He's just like, ooh, I'm so evil. It's just like
yeah. I just think it's funny because I agree with Ari. He is panicking in this moment, and then he gets his composure back. And he's like, I here we go. I can use this to my advantage. Again, being 16 steps ahead of everybody else. You know what I mean? Oh my God.
The chat
Chris,
is
you have some beef with Fox, don't you?
No. Did you see what Element put?
See,
that is a good panel. Very good panel, by the way.
Chris has some beef with CT 1010.
Fox is the worst. He just is. He's just a he's with Frack. Him and Frack would have been great friends.
So true, bestie.
Good people, listen to the Empire.
Yeah. Oh.
So true, Chris. Same. Why wasn't the blaster on stun? That's all I want to know. Excuse me.
Oh, my bad. It's CC 1010, not CT 1010. My mistake.
Oh my goodness.
I looked it up just to double check my facts. I was like, oh.
Anyway.
CC. Damn.
On to the next question. Word seemed to travel fast amongst the clones. What do you think the gossip around this incident sounded like, and how do you think the other clones took this news, especially from what we've been talking about with them being so closely knit and being like brothers? How do you think they all handled the news? And I'll start with Hereth.
Well, I mean, I think it's just kind of like the simple of like, oh no, Fox tried to assassinate the Chancellor. Oh, he's going crazy, just like Tup. We got to get him down. We got to like arrest him, like put him on site. Like I assume that's like majority of the clones' thoughts. I assume like Kix, Rex, and like Jesse were all like, what the hell's going on? Like, surely that's not true. Maybe like again, maybe he is going crazy, but like I think it was more of like a sincere thing than like the rest of the Republic.
Yeah. Ari?
I definitely agree with Hereth that would have been like a large majority of the reactions. Not to project myself onto clones once again.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
I do think that there would have been a number of them who would, like me, when something that is a crisis happens, would just kind of like be like, oh, let's just not worry about it. You know? Like I fully did not worry about COVID until my flights to San Diego got canceled 2 weeks before, like around in March. Like I was like, it was the day the NBA got canceled, and I was like, oh yeah, COVID won't come here. I am the worst. with like things, I'm like, oh yeah, it'll be fine, and then it's not fine. And then I panic when I'm like, oh shit, it's real. God damn. So I do feel like that's a normal human reaction potentially, and I feel that. Someone to be like, oh yeah, that was like a freak thing that happened. Like no worries, and then they're like, Order 66 happens, and they're like, nuts. Yeah.
Yeah, and in the chat they're talking about if Fox killed Zechikasa, and yes, Fox did kill Zechikasa. Oppo was the first one that Zet did kill while they were on the platform. Just to preface that real quick.
Anyway, Max, your thoughts?
I mean, I don't know. Trying to think of like a good way to put it, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. I'm struggling to find my words real quick. Can you read the question back to me again?
Yeah.
Maybe it'll pop back in.
Word seemed to travel fast amongst the clones. What do you think the gossip around this incident sounded like?
Okay, yeah.
How do you think other clones took the news?
So honestly, I'm gonna give the same answer that I say of like, why didn't Princess Leia like feel something more than just like comforting Luke when Alderaan blew up? I think it's just the amount of like bad stuff just happening all the time, like literally all the time. And even all the clones say like the nightmare's over. They don't have time to focus on a lot of that stuff. I'm sure there was some gossip. Some people were probably like, oh, that seems a little sus, but you can't focus on it. We got to go off and fight in the war and stuff like that. I think that's how the majority of them would be. And then, yeah, of course, there's some that would just be like, I wasn't there, didn't know the situation. I got more important things to figure out. Like it's just it's not my problem.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because they are so heavily focused on the objective and what the objective is of at hand. I still think that the 501st would have been like, there would have been a little bit of grumbling. But like it also was like, hey, maybe this isn't true. Maybe we shouldn't be talking about something that isn't fruition. We don't know all the facts about. Oh my God. Here we go. The Element says the clones for sure started talking, and Five's death is probably what most of the clones who fight through the programming think of, and it enables them to break free. Lots of them. That's probably true.
So it's like if a clone's under like a huge like stack of boulders, just think about fives, and you can just push those boulders up, and then continue fighting.
Anyway. Yeah. Anyway. we're not. Well, I guess we should give highlight to that. Remy says they probably heard Fives tried to assassinate the Chancellor, realized Fox was doing his job and probably still felt really bad and cried for his brother after it happened.
Forward into the black. Chase, how you doing?
Did not bring a PowerPoint. There is no PowerPoint. But in 2 short weeks, we will have another PowerPoint for Mason Jar Jar.
We only keep it for the best arcs.
Yes, yeah.
Which will be fun.
But obviously Fives gets word to Kix. Kix lets Rex know. Rex and Anakin come. Fives is kind of manic a little bit because he is paranoid about everything that he's been told, which is all true. Anakin has trouble understanding what's going on. Would he really do this? Fox then gets behind and assassinates Fives. And yes, did Fox give him a chance to put down his weapons? He did say drop your weapon like 3 times, but that doesn't excuse him killing Fives.
But also, you cannot forget. I'm not a Fox defender, but he was in the same room as Palpatine, and Palpatine was probably like, "Hey, if you ever encounter him and he tries to like kill you, don't set that to stun. Kill him and terminate him immediately." Like, what are you gonna tell the Chancellor? No, I'm not gonna. Like, he's the highest command. Of course, he's just gonna like not listen to him and actually do his job.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, we do need a hold on. You guys talk
so
about
so true.
Hold on. Five's last words were, "The nightmares are finally over." What does this say about the way the clones were treated and their general lives within the Republic? I'll start with everybody salute for Five.
In memoriam of CT 5555. May he hopefully he rests in peace in the hands of Mortis.
No, of the Grand Army of the Republic, you dummy. Anyway.
Well, that's my replacement for God, but
this is the quality we have on Pod Ones, okay?
Sorry, we had to pour one out for Fives because he is the bestest boy, and we always cherish our never. You're back on.
Well, Dr. Rex could go argue with Emperor Palpatine around the corner.
Always about family.
Sorry, we're getting off track here, but oh god, Max, your thoughts? How's that my fault? You can't blame you cannot blame a death from 2014 on me. That's not how any of this works.
That's not how the Force works.
That's not how this works, Chase. I'm sorry. But sorry, Max, go ahead.
Well, I really think it shows like the PTSD that's like kind of unspoken between the clones. It's like every clone knows it, but they have like these nightmares. I probably Order 66 and stuff like that, and then having all their brothers loss and the loss of I'm sure Jedi and people that they're trying to save, and I can't imagine that can be easy. So
just because I
make a PowerPoint so far. Dang.
Hey. Yeah, thank you. It is Fox's fault. It's Fox's fault, not mine.
Retweet. Sorry,
Why
Remy.
don't we blame the Sith Lord? Just
Luke.
What was I just supposed to pause and jump through my TV and say, "Don't kill Fives, he knows everything"?
Yeah.
What am I, God? Come on.
No, you're supposed to, in 2014, fly to San Francisco, barge into Katie Lucas and Dave Filoni talking about the arc. No,
you can't have it because it'll be blamed on me.
when I have Padawans in 8 years from now, I'm gonna be talking about this, and I don't want the death to be blamed on me.
Me and Fox are not the same. I wouldn't have killed Fives. I would have stunned him. I'd have been like, let's ask questions. Let's not shoot. We'll ask questions first and then shoot later.
Wait, can we highlight Chris's comment? I can't play devil's advocate. I'm like that kid in high school. Anyway.
You just weren't ready to see me.
You just were not ready to see
me.
You're gonna make me cry.
A ways to go.
Long way to go.
Hush.
Come on. Anyway, Ari, your thoughts.
So just so we're clear, when 5 says the nightmare is over, he is referring to the nightmare being having to live in the same timeline as Fox, right? Like, just so we're clear on that.
I agree. I would agree.
No. But jokes aside, please hold. Let me pull up my notes because I had a good thought. I don't trust myself to do it. Okay.
Come on, this is your moment.
Yeah, this is not very coherent. This is not very coherent, but what does this say about the way the clones were treated in their general lives within the Republic? It shows they are bad. These were also similar to Tup's last words. He says something pretty much along the same lines about the nightmare being over. I said, I think it also shows that the clones still suppress a lot of themselves and who they are individually, and they don't really have free will. Like, we kind of pretend they do, but they don't. And I think even if you are bred for what they're bred for, I still think that not having that type of free will to do whatever you want would be a nightmare. And again, with the question mark. So yeah. I think that it's partially the nightmare of the actual nightmares that we are alluded to that they have with regard to Order 66. But I also think it is kind of like a deeper meaning of the nightmare of just being bred for war. I think that sucks. So I think it's a little bit of both.
Hereth?
Okay. So it's obvious that the nightmares are ensuing to Order 66. I feel like they knew from the beginning that they were going to kill the Jedi, and they just keep seeing these weird visions of that going to happen. So I wouldn't say that has any effect on the clones being treated within the Republic and their general lives. I think that has to do with the inhibitor chips that were in place with them since they were basically toddlers. I think that's more what's happening than how they're treated. I don't think it has anything to do with it.
Damn. Spinny credits.
Help a veteran get a warm meal.
No, it's help a veteran get a warm meal.
Maybe you should just start doing TEM.
All quadrants of Sector 515.
Anyway. Yeah, this is tough. Jar?
Yeah, Five's death was it's if you watched the Maul Ascension arc where Max answered the question about Five's death was the pivotal moment of the Clone Wars, where yes, this was the moment where the possibility that the clones were bred to kill the Jedi finally arose.
Yep.
Because before Clone Wars, it made it seem like there was not a single hint. No one had a thought in their mind that the clones would do this. But this arc shows that it might happen. And the Jedi have suspicions.
Yeah, absolutely.
But at the end of the day, Palpatine gets what he wants. But Fives is the sad... Because when he said the nightmares are finally over, it's just like what Ari said, they're bred for war. They have no individuality. I mean, a select few Jedi give them that sort of individuality, but that's why I feel so happy to see Rex in Rebels, because it's he's free. He's with Gregor. He's with Wolf. He's partaking in the rebellion. He's his own person.
He overcame the chip.
Yeah.
Here's a question.
And that was but before you get to that, it was
go ahead.
That was why in the finale of Bad Batch, not Bad Batch, season 7, where because he was able to resist it, and then he tells Ahsoka to find fives.
Yeah,
like it was like this was the moment that saved Rex, because once season 6 was over, and then Rex showed up in Rebels, we were like, wait, what happened with him in Order 66?
Yep.
And we figure out that fives inspired him or helped him overcome the chip and eventually escape it.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Here's a question. How many of the clones that had died in the Clone Wars would have joined up with Rex and started a clone battalion in the Rebel Alliance? You think all of them would have?
I think it varies from clone to clone.
I think a large number of them would. Of course. Only 5. He would have done great in the rebellion.
Obviously, Wolf obviously does. What's another? Echo. Well, we don't know what happens to Echo in Bad Batch.
Mm-hmm.
All Domino, rest in peace, Heavy.
Yeah, all of them. I think all of them would have definitely made it for sure. And Camilla's it is infuriating because in a similar way to The Last Jedi, it's infuriating because none of the bad stuff had to happen. It just does happen. Yeah. But that's gonna be it for breaking down this arc. Char, 3 interesting facts.
Hey, that's my thing.
Your segment.
All right. 3 interesting facts about a certain Clone Wars arc that you didn't know about until now. Part 34, the Orders arc. Fact 1, a site that you have seen before. The Grand Republic Medical Facility is the same towering structure seen at the end of Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, where Darth Vader is reconstructed in his cybernetic form. Though the room where Fives is examined is similar to the one where Vader is operated on, it is a different room that is more of an operating theater with observation seats along the walls. Fact 2, an Empire Strikes Back character appearance. Subtle. Seen in the hospital entrance of the Grand Republic Medical Facility is a FX-7 droid design that matches the one seen in the Rebel medical base in Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, where Luke is in the back to tank.
They're
Fact
also
3.
seen in that same room in Revenge of the Sith.
Mm-hmm. Fact 3, the taxi driver. The Nimbanal taxi driver is Jay Igno, whose name is a nod to Reverend Jim Ignatowski, Christopher Lloyd's memorable character from the classic sitcom Taxi. And there you have it. Those are the 3 interesting facts about the Orders arc. Which, I mean, if you want to add 3 more like we did last arc, go ahead.
No, I don't think there's any more in there. But those are just so well done. Good job, Char.
Hey, no problem.
And now we come to the conclusion. Ranking the arc as a whole. Ari,
Chris.
You're new to this. What?
I would say Chris is in here to give it a Padawan, so.
Yeah, that's true. So the episode rankings are as follows: Youngling bad, Padawan okay, Jedi Knight good, Jedi Master great, and Grandmaster Chef's kiss. We have only given. Is it still 7? It's still 7, right?
It's still 7, yes.
Even though there's still an asterisk to that 7 because of last week.
Yeah, no, it's 7.
It's 7.
That Padawan really hurt last week. I will say that.
Thanks. Chris.
But Max, what would you rank this arc?
I mean, I know I come on here and I always give a Grandmaster, but like, there's a reason why I come on the specific ones. So I'm gonna give it a Grandmaster, man. I mean, Fives is if he isn't my favorite clone, he's definitely in my top 3. So, and just the fact that he figured everything out and like the way that this whole arc played out, I mean, I just loved it from start to finish.
Getting called out. You're already getting us canceled, Hereth. God dang it. Ari, are you in? Are you in with Max on a Grandmaster?
Unsurprisingly, I am agreeing that it is.
There's 2.
When I first watched this, when I was first watching the Clone Wars, like this is the arc that made me be like, wow, this show actually slaps. This is so good. The mystery aspects, seeing clones, I don't know. Don't need to get into it. I love it. 12 out of 10 is what I'd rank it in numbers. So there you go.
Nice. Chat. Also, let us know what your guys' rankings are. If we get it in here before we are done, we will go through them. Hereth. All right, that's not fair. That's not fair.
Okay, anyways, as per usual, is it a Katie Lucas arc? Yes. Grandmaster. That's how it works every single time.
So true.
Char.
It's a Grandmaster for me.
All right,
and
it's
then
a
I
Grandmaster
think
for me as well.
Well,
hey, sweet dad.
I want to give my reasoning.
All right, give your reasoning.
Well, because when I saw this arc for the first time as a kid, because there's many instances in Clone Wars where you were like, yeah, clones are individuals. They have some individuality. They have personalities. But this arc like solidified that like clones are bigger than soldiers. They're more than soldiers. They're more than war. Because when you see Umbara, they're like, when the war is over, what's going to happen to us? And so it's like, when watching the prequels as a kid, I was like, when I'm watching this, I was like, how do they make clones like so emotionally investing? Like they're doing such a good job at it. And this arc fulfilled it for me. So
we've got Pharaoh Remy, said Grandmaster. Alanis said Grandmaster as well. Youngling because Fox didn't die. Well, all right, there we go. Grandmaster. Okay, all right. Where's the chef? Cause I'm trying to kiss him. Good one.
Well,
I gave it a Grandmaster.
The chef's in here. It's under the hat. So if you want to kiss a mouse, go ahead. Because Ratatouille, get it?
Anyway, it now goes with 7 other arcs in our podcast that have gotten a Grandmaster. So, round of applause to Fives. Pour one out for Fives. It's great. It's great. All right. With that is going to be the end of another episode of the Podworlds podcast. I want to thank everybody in the chat. Want to thank our 2 guests. Max, where can the good people follow you on the social medias?
You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter at pmps_den. That's PMP's den. And then I also have my business, which is PMP Creations, and Creations is with a Z because the S was taken. So you can follow me on all the social medias with that too.
And you might see some collaboration with us down the road. Ari, thank you again for coming on. Where can the good people follow you and your all amazing content?
Where can we find the Ari?
Yeah. Where can we find the Ari? Where we're going to be on E episode of the Millennium Pod. Gonna put that in the world now.
Yes, so true. Actually, we'll talk after. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Millenniumpod_. If you go to Twitter right now, you can vote in a poll about whether or not Nalase is a baddie. So I had to do that. And you can also find me on TikTok at ari.in.space. I don't do it too often though. And my podcast is The Millennium Pod by The Ari. So check that out.
Well, when you say the Ari, if you eliminate the space between the and Ari, it's never mind. It's a
I'm tired of this podcast.
Whoa.
Don't invite me back.
No, but you had one hell of a debut. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming on, Ari.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Hereth, where can the good people follow you?
Well, you can find me every week here on Thursdays for Podmom. I'm not going to say Luke Chars. I'm so like trying not to muscle memory to Chars because that's just a Chars thing. If you want to find me anywhere else on social medias, you can find me on Hereth Productions on TikTok and Instagram, Hereth on Twitter if you want to see me on Hinged. And again, that's my main social medias. I would say they fly now, but it's still on break.
Yeah. Char J, where can the good people follow you?
Good people, you can find me on TikTok at CharCharJ, as spelled right here. And you can find me here at the Podwans podcast every Thursday as we cover our Clone Wars rewatch. Next week, we'll be covering the Clovis arc.
Watching Clovis get his ass beat because he deserves it. Big.
But we also don't.
We don't condone Anakin's actions towards Padme, saying that you should stay out of it because that's not how relationships work.
That's abusive.
Anakin did nothing wrong.
But Clovis. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm excited to hear the conversations that will transpire next week. So,
no, yeah, absolutely. You guys can follow us at the Podwans Podcast on TikTok, the Podwans Pod on Instagram, and Podwans Podcast on Twitter. We will hopefully have an announcement for you in the next couple of days. Just keep an eye on our social medias. What are we waiting for?
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh no!
Remy will be on next week.
Yeah, Remy will be making her.
I have to share my.
It's gonna be
okay. Share it.
I have to share my screen. I have to. I'm sorry.
It's another arc about Republic corruption.
So true.
Oh, okay. All right.
I have to do it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Chase is making me do this. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
pull up the one thing. Pull up the one thing for the Luke. I see 2 tabs open.
Oh my god. That's ridiculous. All right. Well, on that note,
555 billion, 555 million, 555,555,000.
That's gonna be it for another episode. For Light and for Life.
We are all the Republic.
And may the Force be with you.
Always.
See you guys.